Welcome everybody to Lakers Friday Night Live. How's everybody doing? In anticipation of tonight's game against the Phoenix Suns, never forget 2006, people. Never forget. My guest tonight, a former Laker great, an all-star three-time champion in 1988, 1989, and 2000, plus the current leader, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say forever leader, of consecutive games played, 1,192. The Iron Man, AC Green. Give it up for AC Green, people.
Thank you, thank you.
How are you, man?
I'm good, I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good. Want to talk to you a little bit about the Lakers with the All-Star weekend. Next week, we're basically at the halfway point. What's your assessment of this team so far?
I like what I see. I mean, you have to, you can say a lot of things and look at it in a lot of different ways, but I personally, I like what I see. They're playing hard. They're competing every single game for the most part, and that's really what you want, because honestly, they're setting themselves up and getting ready for that playoff push, and because you have to think about that right now.
Right. Have you noticed discernible improvement as they've been moving along?
Well, they're playing harder, right, for sure. Collectively, I should say. The big guys they're staying involved in the games, which is really important for them. And you know what, the bench is playing better also. Okay. And so that's the kind of things that you're really looking for at this time. And everyone's sort of staying healthy.
Well, Laker fans, because I know a lot of you guys have been panicking lately, because at the Lander Lakers blog at ESPNLA.com, of which I co-host, I hear your comments, I read your comments, they are not positive. So listen to AC Green. He knows what he's talking about. He's played the game at the NBA level. You were part of Phil Jackson's first team when he arrived, and yep, I know the situation isn't exactly the same because you guys had an actual training camp and a schedule that's spread out more so you could practice more, but how difficult is it to learn a new system on the fly during games?
It's tough. It is. I mean, because you can really appreciate time. You right, understand what time really means. It's not only recuperation for your body, but it's your mind to absorb what the new plan is and absorbing a new strategy. And so to learn on the cuff, on the fly, a brand new system, as well as personnel. Right. No, it's really, really hard.
What was the hardest part for you personally in terms of getting comfortable with the triangle?
Well, I sort of had the little cheating course.
Oh, the Dallas stint.
Yes. I played with Jim Clemens, who was assistant for Phil Jackson, as well as here for all the championships, basically. And we had it in Dallas for 3 years. I had a chance to learn the triangle my time with him. So when I got here, I was still very familiar, entrenched with it. But the rest of the guys who had the deer in the headlight look, it was tough. It really was, because you don't know who's coming or going. You run into one another because you're trying to time things and not think about things. But it's a little hard without a signal.
So you're like, pick it up, dummy. Come on.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you guys waiting on? Get over there. Get over there. Get over there.
Everyone's got to catch up to AC. AC knows what's going on.
That was very, very true. And the funny thing, though, Adam, about it was that when we played the Portland Trailblazers that particular year, when they were obviously very good, Scottie Pippen was on the Portland Trailblazers. Right. He, of course, knew the triangle like the back of his hand, and he had every play figured out, every position. He was blowing up all kind of chemistry on the team. It was the funniest thing with someone like him.
That's got to be a point when you're very happy that you're a power forward as opposed to a small forward, and maybe not matching up quite as often against him.
Oh gosh, yeah, trust me, I did not want to see him coming at any place or time.
If you could make one relatively easy adjustment for this Lakers team moving forward, what do you think it would be in terms of maybe helping them push forward even more?
Well, honestly, it's just keep shooting the ball. Right, don't hesitate. I see the reluctancy is still there. You'd like to say just be freer, just be loose, just go out and play. Just go do it. I mean, because it really comes down to just going out and trusting your teammates and playing hard and playing for one another, but taking some of the pressure off of the situation.
You're watching Lakers Friday Night Live. My guest, AC Green, three-time champion with your Los Angeles Lakers, and also the holder of a record that I doubt is going to be shattered anytime soon. 1,192 consecutive games played. And tonight, Derek Fisher is officially day-to-day with sinusitis. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to play. He's the current among active players with 524. Can you just talk a little bit about the mentality that's required to reach the point where Derek was at, much less where you got to.
Well, let me tell you what's going through Derek's mind right now. Basically, Derek has that mentality: if he can breathe, he can play.
Right.
You know, because it's not a situation or a circumstance that will keep him out of the lineup. And so we already know he's playing,
right,
without a doubt. And it's just one of those things that you just overcome whatever the circumstance is. And honestly, Kobe's really like that. You know, Kobe has a little bit more serious injuries than the knickknacks, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
But he has that same type of mentality, and that's why I sort of love watching him, but more important, watching him prepare for a game, too.
Do you remember a particular game where you thought you were closest to tapping out, and you really thought, okay, this may come to an end? I'm not sure I can actually do this one.
Iron Man, no, Iron Man never quit. He never gives up in that scenario. And there were some tough games, without a doubt. I think I always talk about one where I sort of had a damaged nerve in my neck, and it wasn't long, but
right,
it was just one of those, almost like a strong crook in your neck. Right. And you're like, oh my gosh, this thing, and I could not look to my left, and so I'm going out to the jump ball. This time it was at the Fabulous Forum, Great Western Forum, and I'm going out there, and I just could not look to my left, and so the ball's going up in the air. I'm positioning myself, and I'm turning, because I knew once I get my body going, my momentum going, the blood circulating, that I'll be fine. And of course, midway through the first quarter, I was fine. Gary Beatty was watching me like, okay, I'm gonna yank you any second now. But I'm like, no, Gary, I'm cool. And
how far along into the streak was that?
Oh gosh, this had to be probably about the point where Derek might be.
Okay, because
not even that early, probably.
Once you're at like 500 or so, if you did tap out, it's not like anyone's gonna hold this against you.
I know exactly. I mean, come on, it's like, come on, you got to be for real. This 500 something games. I remember they gave me the ball for my 500th consecutive game, and I looked at it, and I'm like, wow, that's like 500, it's like 500. I was like, whoa.
If I got to 1,000, I would sit out on general principle. I would just sit that game out just to let everybody know I played 1,000 in a row.
Oh, trust me, I thought about it too. I did, but the great thing about it was my trainer at that time, Roger Hines, he was the one who was nervous. He was the one who was scared. He used to, when we approached 1,000 game in a row, we were like 2 or 3 games away in Dallas at this time. He used to want to drive me to the arena just to make sure I didn't get in an accident or anything would happen on his watch.
Okay. You were, obviously, you can't make something like this happening without great conditioning, and your conditioning during your playing days is the stuff of legend. Were you the only guy who thought Riles' practices were too easy?
You let my teammates tell the story, yes. My teammates will tell you all the time, like, man, we hated this dude. We hated him. We're going to ask Michael Thompson across the street later on. He'll say the same thing. I did, because I was just conditioned, and you just got into a mentality, basically, that you just did it. You know, and it was, I didn't come from another team. Right. I was brand new, so I'm learning my way. I'm getting molded into the NBA, and so all of a sudden, I'm just like, this is what you're supposed to do. You go out, you work hard, you stay there 6 hours a day. I mean, this is like work. This is what my parents did. Not different.
Which member of Showtime used to get crushed the most?
Come on now, that's a good question.
Oh, it's long enough. Yeah. Nobody's going to hold it against these guys.
Of course not. Who used to get crushed the most? Probably, well, Michael, when he was there, he used to have, he was looking for another lung. Michael Cooper could go all day long. Byron was pretty good condition in general. Kurt used to get tired quite a bit, you know, but right. Kurt and Mitch Kupchak were in 2 different worlds anyway. They used to have competitions who can get the most stitches in practice. I mean, falling on the floor, diving, get cuts, and I'm like, you guys are crazy. You're not my models.
Who typically won?
Kurt actually used to win, because Mitch, he get hurt, but it's like bone structure. Kurt used to always get some kind of blood coming out and just be smiling about it. Well, I'm like, this dude is crazy.
That does explain how he popped right up after McHale clotheslined him. I mean, he's used to that. That's what Rambis does.
That happened in practice a lot, so that's why he got right up and kind of run back to the other end of the court. Exactly.
No wonder he wasn't calling foul.
No, Kurt doesn't quit. They'll tell you, he actually was the role model that I played with every single day.
When you hear the phrase Iron Man, what does that mean to you?
Well, funny, this morning it meant the big monster trucks over at Dodger Stadium, because I saw the big old monster car over there, and I saw an Iron Man car, and like I wanted to go down there and take some pictures and try and drive it. But you know, it just really means endurance. It means endurance. It means dedication. It means commitment. You know, when I hear that, because that's what it symbolizes to me. And so when I'm talking to kids, and I'm talking to the kids in our LAUSD schools, even, I talk about those type of attributes and characteristics. These are something you want to try and possess as you grow older, but you got to develop those things now.
You're watching Lakers Friday Night Live. My guest, AC Green, 3-time Los Angeles Lakers champion, All-Star in 1990, and lately, big-time TV star. You've been involved in 2 television projects. Can you talk a little bit about them?
Sure. The first one, honestly, a couple of weeks ago, we did one that's still going on. It's called Big Time. In Big Time, it's a bunch of different goals that people have. They want to try and meet and have a certain career. And so the episode I was a part of was actually 4 contestants trying to get the rights to go to the Bakerfield's Jam, the D-League team, go in their training camp. And so they went through a process of elimination, a bunch of different skills, and we wind up winning. A local LA guy actually won. Billy
cool.
Knight is his name, and so he went to the final cut and did not make it at that time, and he's now actually playing over in Japan right now.
Does he have an outside shot?
Billy actually has an outside shot, and it was probably to my coaching or my mentorship that he probably didn't do as well as he could have, but at the same time, it's okay. But the second one, as you mentioned, the second show is really one I do with the kids, and I do for kids, and I do in conjunction with kids all around our LAUSD school. Like so many of you out there, you went to schools, and you're a product of a lot of schools in LA, and we all love that. And so I'm trying to develop programs that will continue to support what they're doing, support our teachers, and let them know, you know what, you have a future, and we appreciate students. You have a future as well as teachers. We appreciate what you're doing, trying to teach them.
That's fantastic. That's a great cause.
That's what it's about. That's what Laker Nation's all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. LA and the Lakers are the same thing.
Absolutely, it is. You can't separate the two, and so it's really great. That's what I love about the Laker Foundation, just being a part of the Laker family forever. That you meet wonderful people like we have here. We get a chance to do various things like just touching our community and just actually connecting, staying connected. And so the young Laker Nation crew called the LAUSD schools and other school districts, those are the ones that I want to continue to reach out to.
Lakers Friday Night Live, AC Green, 3-time LA Laker champion, and the Ironman, 1,192 consecutive games played. That is a record that will not be broken. Thanks so much for your time, AC.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, bro. All right, let's go, Lakers!